carriages, wagons and locomotives, all shapes and sizes and lots of them. Of course, freight along railways has always happened. In fact, it's why the railway systems were invented in the first place. But as the railway network grew, the logistics of finding out where a particular wagon, carriage or locomotive was located became ever more difficult. However, it will become easier with the introduction of tops. By the 1960s, around 2,000 freight trains hauling up to 100,000 wagons were being moved every single day. Keeping track of these was difficult using a paper-based system. However, in the United States, a system was developed by the Southern Pacific Railroad, Stanford University and IBM to be a computer replacement for this thankless paper task. The name for this system would be the Total Operations Processing System, or TOPS. By mid-1968, it was introduced by Southern Pacific and had already caught the eye of British Rail. Several other systems like France's GCTM and Canada's Traffic Reporting and Control System, TRACS, had been considered, but it was felt that the TOP system would be more suited. By 1971, British Rail had opted to implement the system on the UK rail network, and by the mid-1970s, the TOP system went live in the UK after many hours of testing and data input at a cost of £11.3 million for capital and development and a further £22.5 million for the rental of the equipment needed. Southern Pacific engineers assisted in the process of equipment install and training. The main hub of the system was to be installed near to British Rail's corporate headquarters. Locomotives were now given classes, such as in this class 37. And different subclasses would be given like this, with a slash to indicate the subclass. It is still done this way at time of filming, with all UK locomotives or multiple units having their own class number. There are too many differing types to be explained in this video, but I may produce another one in the future explaining all these. Wagons and coaching stock under the TOP system are also given a specific coding system, one of which is too varied to cover in this video. Suffice to say, it covered all stock in a way that is very identifiable. For example, a passenger carriage would have the prefix of the letter A and then a further explanation of the carriage type by a second letter. So if that carriage was a kitchen buffet, it would have the letter H, making the carriage AH. Again, I may revisit this in a future video. After all this classification, how does the system know where a particular carriage, wagon or locomotive is? Well, the country was divided up into 89 sectors. Sectors 1 to 8 were in Scotland and the rest across England and Wales, with 89 being in Dover. In this example, we see Sector 75, the Swindon area. By adding one more digit, it creates a smaller sector within. Add two more digits for yards, stations, etc., and you can pinpoint any location on the rail network. Against these location numbers, the numbers of wagons, coaches or locomotives can be stored. As well as this location file, many more are kept, such as locomotive files and wagon files. By knowing the code for a wagon, it can be input into the database and the computer searches for it through the location database. The system of course relies on data input, so any consist made must be input to the system with details of the route it will take. Any stops on the route can also be input. When the wagon is unloaded at the end of the journey, TOPS will know where it is, so that if a company requests an empty wagon, then the closest and most suitable can be obtained. Eventually, TOPS would also be used by private companies who had their own TOPS terminal connected to the main hub via secure connection. In this way, companies could view and request wagons, especially those which were owned by the company. The system would prove to be very popular, and it is still a core part of UK railway infrastructure. Indeed, Trust, the train running under system TOPS, which monitors the progress and delays of trains, uses, as its name implies, TOPS. Trust is used by websites such as Real Time Trains to populate their pages. It really is a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And although Southern Pacific replaced TOPS with a similar system in 1980, British Railways decided to stick with TOPS because it just worked. I hope this quick description about TOPS and its history has interested you. It certainly has a lot more to offer than I've described in this short video. A more detailed look at TOPS can be seen in the short British transport film TOPS for Industry, which can be found on volume 15 of the British Transport Film Collection. Indeed, some of the imagery in this video was taken from it for research purposes. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. And if you can, get out there, get on the railway and see where it takes you. Thanks very much for watching.